Hey guys, today I am coming to you from my kitchen, and if I'm talking kind of low and if you hear some music in the background, it's because my youngest is asleep in her swing and I've got the music on that going. Today I want to talk about kind of more of a life lessons, and I think I may start a new series by that title, Life Lessons. And I want to talk about finding peace and contentment in a world where there's Pinterest and there are just so many things we're used to seeing in a perfect way. Now, I am a blogger myself, and I love to look at blogs. I love Pinterest. I just think it's a great place to go for inspiration. But if you look at that stuff, you can kind of feel some feelings of inadequacy start to creep in. And this is something I don't claim to have all figured out at all. It's something that I still struggle with. And it's one of those things, like, I don't necessarily even know it's happening until I'm already there, until I already have that feeling of, gosh, how is she able to do so much more than I am? Or why does she look like that 3 months after having a baby and I look like this? Part of this is just having a really good self-awareness to notice the inner dialogue inside your head. And I know this is kind of getting into weird zone a little bit. But if you've ever noticed, at least for me, and I think this is true for most people, as you go about your day, it's like you have this inner monologue going on, or dialogue going on in your head. Just pay attention to the things that you say to yourself about the world. It's really interesting. So a lot of times I'll catch myself having those negative thoughts about myself and go, wait a minute, stop. It's happening again. Okay, if I haven't completely lost you, keep listening because it'll get better, and I promise we won't stay in the weird zone. So I just have a few tips for us. I'm going to include myself in this because having a sense of peace and contentment in life, I think that's really one of the things that all of us are after. And it's hard because the things around us, it's almost like we live in a virtual reality. Things are just made to look so pretty, and we know all the messes in our own lives. So my number one tip is to just realize and recognize that the world around us that we see is highly edited. It seems kind of obvious, but when we're constantly bombarded with images that have been edited and made to look extremely beautiful, it can kind of alter our sense of reality. When you start to compare your messy life, and you know all the messes in your own life, when you start to compare that to this alternate form of reality where everything is beautiful and perfect, it can really lead you to feeling inadequate. So that first step is really important. Just realize that a lot of what you see in the world is edited. It's not as beautiful and perfect as it seems. Number two is to adjust your expectations. Perfection is just not attainable, and you should not expect your life to look like something out of a magazine. I want to make a distinction here, not to confuse excellence with perfection. Those are two totally different things. I think it's great to strive for excellence, to always try to be better. What we don't want to get caught up in is trying to be perfect, because that's just a recipe for disaster. Adjusting your expectations also kind of goes back to number one, because honestly, if you feel inferior, it's not the content creator's fault. It's not the fault of the person who looks great in the picture. It's not the fault of the person who created the picture. It has to do with your own mindset and your own feelings of inferiority. The goal is to be able to look at beautiful things and just recognize them for what they are, and for it not to affect our mindset and our view of ourselves. Somebody said this quote, I can't take credit for it. I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt, and I'll try to put it in the captions if I can find it. But no one has the power to make you feel inferior without your permission. I want myself and you guys to be able to look at beautiful things and to appreciate them in a way that doesn't make us feel inferior about ourselves. We can just recognize beautiful things for what they are. Number three is gratitude. Be thankful for what you have. And so much in life goes back to this. Excuse my barking dog out on the patio. He's right outside my window. And I believe that gratitude is the single greatest ingredient to finding peace and contentment in life. Hold on, I'm gonna go put the dog away so he can't keep barking in my video. There are life-altering benefits to gratitude. It just really is like the lens of which we see everything else with. If you focus on the things that you don't have and focus on the ways that you think you fall short, it's just going to make you miserable. The good news is that you can flip your mind and train it to focus on the things that you do have and the things that you are thankful for. Number 4, prioritize the things that are important to you and then let go of the rest. The key, in my opinion, is developing some wisdom to discern like what are the things that are really worth pursuing. You really have to pick your battles, decide what you want to go after and do it, and then you just have to let some things go. For example, I have a blog and a YouTube channel, and I create some beautiful images with my blog, some beautiful shots of food, and I'm not perfect and I'm not even really the best at all, but I'm learning, and it's fun to make beautiful images of food. However, I give up some things to do that. I give up having like a pristine house. I'm nowhere near that. I mean, in fact, you can see some of the messes back here on my kitchen counter. So there are some days when I really want to do a recipe that some other things have to wait. Now, all the functional things in my house come first. Like I have to make sure everyone's fed and clothed and that kind of thing. But as far as like doing any home improvement projects or having a pristine house where everything is perfect, that's just not priority to me. And it does make me feel kind of bad when I see photos of perfect homes on Pinterest or whatever. I'm like, oh, I wish my house looked like that. But I just have to realize that it's a choice I make. I don't want to put in all the hours and work that it would take to have a perfect home. I would rather put my time other places, like spending quality time with my kids, like working on my YouTube channel or the blog. And everybody's different. I'm not saying that my way is right or wrong. I'm just saying that it's helpful to recognize what your priorities are and then really make an effort to just let go of the rest. This is not to say that priorities can't change. I mean, obviously a perfect example of that right now is we just had a baby, and that really causes priorities to reshuffle. That's just someone else that we have to take care of in our house, and she's at a stage where she really can't do anything for herself. It's just a really intense time, and you just have to kind of adjust your expectations. And that's not saying that things are going to be that way forever. It's just seasons of life. Sometimes priorities change and things have to reshuffle. So the goal is to just be able to see and appreciate things, beautiful images for what they are. They are just beautiful images, and that shouldn't cause us to think any differently about ourselves. Just realize that those images are beautiful, edited, altered versions of reality, and know and accept that real life is not always so splashy. Do you have any tips for finding more peace and contentment in life? I would love to hear them. Leave me a comment below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave me a comment or give me a thumbs up, and stay tuned for more. I would love to do more of these life lessons type videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.